going on, Jeromes? It's a beautiful Thursday morning. The sun is literally shining. Birds are literally chirping and stuff. So we're diving on in. Q&A, 5 good questions. Let's go. Traveler, we've seen the importance of building the trenches. Can you go through some of your D-line, O-line studs of the 2024 draft? So this is a quick and dirty look at some of the top guys in terms of interior offensive line as well as defensive tackle. Interior O-line, so JPJ. I mean, he is the crown jewel of this class, whether at center, working at some guard at the Senior Bowl, and yes, one-year starter, don't care. The absolute power and mass in that ass. He's going to have that anchor. Also has fleet feet, so he's got that movement skills as well. And I think that he could come in. Yes, I fully understand that Bradbury is extended. Vikings can get out from underneath that contract pretty quickly, and I'm sick and tired of having the center shot putted back into the lap of the quarterback. Now is the paradigm of the league has changed. For many years, it's been on the edge. That's where you have your best pass rushers against the left tackle, the blind side. First you buy the Haas, then you buy the insurance, like Sandra Bullock style, right? And now it's, hey, get your best, some of your best pass rushers on the inside and get that quick pressure in the A gaps. And JPJ, you need to solidify things, and I do kind of miss the days of Matt frickin' Burke, 325 pounds up front, and sort of got away from that during the John Sullivan era. I mean, Sullivan was fantastic, but he was undersized center, and then they had Joe Berger for a hot second, then Elfline was in there, and then Bradbury, and it's just like, Yeah. Zach Frazier from West Virginia, Mountain Mama, I like a lot too. Troy Fatu. Now, he was Washington's left tackle. He did not have a good game against Michigan, but again, who did? But he's going to be a guy projected to kick inside. I think he would be a badass guard at the next level. Zach Zinter, so probably would have been a early day 2 selection if he hadn't broken his leg. But Kwesi loves the medical guys, certainly. Cooper Beebe, I freaking love Cooper Beebe, man. I've wanted him for more than 2 years, and he didn't have as good of a season at Kansas State this year as he did 2 years ago, but I think that he's a guy that you set it, you plop in at one of the guard spots and you set it and forget it for a long time. Defensive tackle. So we've sort of been through this quite a bit, but Drazon Newton, Geno Atkins, Reborn 2.0, Byron Murphy, the best of both worlds, can stop the run as well as get after it as a pass rusher. Tavondre Sweat is going to be that true blue nose tackle, 360 pounds if he's announced. Let's go. Chris Jenkins can clog up the middle as well. A little bit more of a traditional 4-3 nose tackle, but certainly could make him work in the Flores scheme. Michael Hall Jr. from Ohio State's opening a lot of eyes down at the Senior Bowl. Has a really quick first step, has some great get off. Now, in the Vikings scheme, would he be more of a 4-tech, 5-tech? Sure, but that certainly has some value. And also Brandon Dorless of Oregon, I think certainly has a lot of potential in those mid-rounds. So I think that the Vikings, I mean, it's a relatively good draft if the Vikings want to go into your offensive line. It's a very good draft for defensive tackle, where it's not tier 1. And a lot of people are going to poo-poo on this defensive tackle class because, I mean, maybe Newton and Murphy sneak into the first round, but there's going to be a lot of guys rounds 2, 3, and 4 that are going to contribute to the interiors for many years to come in this class. Next up, Wolf. I drive for a living. Thank you for hauling it all. And I love the podcast every morning. I kind of have 2 questions. How would you feel if Brian Flores left for a head coaching position? Hell, maybe he gets Washington. Who knows? And Bill Belichick came in his defense coordinator. Why is there so much inconsistency with the Minnesota Vikings through the year? So I don't think that Belichick would take a DC job. I think that if Belichick doesn't get the Washington job, which doesn't seem like there's any interest, I think that he would go in media and make all the money, right? But we have floated the idea before. It's like, hey, why doesn't Belichick come in here with the Vikings if he wants to stay in the game and sort of be football czar / team president / whatever, working with Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, who he drafted in the 3rd round 2008, and obviously he and Flores have a good working relationship. But we'll see. Also, we point out that the Wolves were huge Giants fans from Parkland, and Belichick obviously very intimately tied to the Giants of the late '80s as well. Next up, why the Vikings so inconsistent? I think it's just really tough. I think it's really tough to be consistently competitive in this league. The NFL is pushing towards parity. They want every single team to go 9-8 or 8-9, or formerly 8-8 back in the day. And Kirk Cousins is good, but if you don't have a tier tier 1 top 3 quarterback, it's really tough to be competitive every single year. And even if you have that guy, I mean, you look at Joe Burrow in Cincy, even before he got hurt. You look at Justin Herbert with the Chargers, and it's really tough. It is really tough to stay competitive every single year. That's why I understand recency bias, but that's why we actually voted no with that in that poll of, do you think the Lions will be back in the NFC title game within 5 years? It's hard to do. T-Rag, if I get we need edge help specifically if we can't keep Daniil, how awesome would it be to get a guy like Chris Jones, though? I know he's older, but any interior pass rush studs just make me feel good. Yeah, and we said a bunch. The interior pass rush is the great equalizer in the modern NFL. And I mean, Chris Jones, even though he's going to be 30, and even though he's going to be commanding 30, the 30 for 30 for Chris Jones. He's 30 years old and going to command $30 million per year. It's just such a great equalizer. So first off, Chris Jones is good against the run. But secondly, especially on third down, you can rush 4. You can rush even 3, and Chris Jones is going to break a double team. He's going to still get a pass rush on the quarterback, and that is such a huge competitive advantage for defenses that it's not even funny. So instead of having to blitz, send 5 or 6 guys and leaving your back end exposed, phrasing, you can rush 3, drop 8, and really clog up the zones and the coverage for the quarterback, but still get pressure on him. Man, that is ultimate defensive privilege right there. And yeah, I mean, Chris Jones certainly brings that, but soaking in resources to try and find the next Chris Jones, I think that's where the Vikings should be at. Or just sign Justin Madubuike or Christian Wilkins. Clinton Ressig, will the Vikings defense make another improvement boost in 2024, and why? So the Vikings went from ass, thank you, to about middle of the pack, top third of the league in most statistical categories, and Flores is the main reason why. And I understand that the Vikings sort of fell apart. The defense fell apart. Basically, fourth quarter of the Bengals game on. But a lot of that was, Flores had been holding this thing together with like duct tape and baling wire. And eventually it came unraveled at the end. But I think there will be another major improvement in play, because the Vikings will have another talent infusion, another offseason of Flores dudes. You look at guys that Flores was standing on the table for. You look at Mekhi Blackman, really starting to get things done. You look at Ivan Pace Jr. So another offseason of influx of talent, and probably some free agent dollars thrown their way. Murphy Jr. was good last year. Now bring in a guy like L'Jarius Sneed. Now bring in a guy like Jalen Johnson. Now bring a guy like Justin Madubuike. Just now bring in a guy like Christian Wilkins. So I think the Vikings are in a good spot defensively, especially Flores. So again, I was shocked that Flores didn't even get a single interview request. So maybe the freeze out is going to be real, and maybe Flores is going to be the DC here with the Vikings for 3, 4, 5 seasons, which would be fantastic, to be honest. Lastly, Dave, what are your top Super Bowl viewing snacks and beverages? Cheers for all the top content. So we actually put this out to the Jeromes of what were your top 5 Super Bowl snacks, and I forget what I put. All right, so I put wings, chips and dip, ribs, pizza, and those little hot ham and cheese sliders made on the King's Hawaiian rolls. The wife makes those. They're really, really good. But for me, yeah, Super Bowl, it is all about the wings. And we've gone on a rant about the wings before, where whether you fry them, air fry them, smoke them, grill them, whatever, don't drown them in the sauce, because you want that texture. You want that you worked really hard for. You want that on the outside, but you can certainly dip and go after it there. Now, chips and dip, that's a broad category where it can include nachos, it can include guac and dip, it can include lots of things. I know that people love buffalo chicken dip. I love me some. You fry up some queso, or not queso. You fry up some chorizo, really nice and crispy, because color equals flavor. So get it all nice and crunchy on the bottom. Deglaze that pan, and then make yourself a little bit of queso. Also, like, Velveeta is good, don't get me wrong, but make your own queso. It's not that hard. Just make butter, oil, make a roux. You can actually, So what I like to do is you in a big pot, fry that chorizo or sausage or whatever hard, and get all the crispy bits on there so all that flavor is integrated in, and then sprinkle with some flour, and then you're adding a little bit of chicken stock, you're adding a little bit of heavy cream, and start getting that queso going, then melt in all your cheese. Woo, woo. Winning the day, baby. Let's go. Ribs. Ribs are straightforward. I love me some ribs. Or that counts as barbecue in general. Where if you want to do a brisket, great. If you want to do a tri-tip, you want to do some barbecue chicken, you want to do some pulled pork, fantastic. Get after it, man. Pizza. I feel like pizza is pretty ubiquitous. Yeah. I also like the little ham and cheese things, but I also love just random dips. Like the wife made BLT dip for Christmas. I think I'm gonna request that again. That was really good. Where it's just like, it was just like a white dip. I assume it was like mayonnaise, cream cheese, probably some sour cream in there or some creme fraiche, and then like the bacon and like nice juicy tomato all diced up and some lettuce on there. It was really good. Or we also had some elote dip. So like the Mexican corn done up as a dip. That was really, really good. Or if people brought up pigs and blankets and stuff, that's really good. But you could do whatever the hell you want. Chili's a fantastic option too, especially if you got a crowd. Just going through some of the answers here. Oh, Sloppy Joes, hell yeah. You forget how good Sloppy Joes are until you have one, and then you forget about them for like a couple years. I love me some Sloppy Joes, man. It's good. Steak fajitas. There you go. Some really good sub sandwiches. Ain't bad, man. Chicken paprikash. Hard in the paint there. Sucking down chili dogs. Also, it's weird. Like I do value a relish tray, just like a tray of vegetables, usually with like a thing of like ranch dip. Then because I swear to Christ, like people don't eat broccoli, but 99% of everyone's broccoli consumption is at parties where broccoli is on like the veggie tray or relish tray, whatever you want to call it, and then people just raw dog the broccoli in the ranch dip. That's what it is. Like people don't steam broccoli and have it on a side with like a steak. That ain't happening. Or it was like, but what about Chinese food? Okay, I just drown in the broccoli with the sugar meat. But no, people, the raw broccoli and the ranch dip. That's like where most people eat all the broccoli. That's where it's consumed every year. Or you can do like the homemade Chex Mix or like the really spicy pretzels. Or so lots of people like make them at home, and they're just as good as Dots pretzels, and they're not like $8 a bag. There you go. Anyways, that's all we got. Oh, beverages. I'm pretty simple, straightforward. Give me some good beer and maybe some Fireball and some tequila shots later on. Who knows? Who really knows? But there you go. But that's it. That is Q&A. 5 good questions for this beautiful Thursday. You guys are the best. Skol, production value.